We are live. Hey now. Welcome to another episode of Tuesday Night Football. I'm flying solo tonight. I got a lot of stuff going on, but I promised I would sign on tonight. We are not appearing on YouTube yet, so that's not good. Oh, there we are. All right, good. All right, so we're going to get right in the action. It's a busy time of year for me, but I did promise I would do this. I would try to do it more often, so we're going to roll. I don't like to do the same teams back to back necessarily, or not back to back, but like in the same season. But the last Cowboys we did was, I think we did a, yeah, well, I don't think I know. We did a kind of review on the early part of their season, but this is actually just one game. Some interesting stuff here. We'll get into it. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get on the film. All right. So early on, you're getting some base stuff from the Vikings. They're trying to loosen them up. They're running some duo. Micah Parsons here plays a 7 technique, and he just gets down in there and digs down in there. But you're going to see this a lot during the game where you're going to see him line up as a 9 technique with someone outside of him and then rip inside late. And I think it was to get some of the combos that they wanted, some of the redirections that they wanted with the line, and we're trying to take advantage of that late into the down. So here's this duo. Parsons creates havoc, and you'll see this a lot where he is really taking out the play and then spinning back and makes the tackle. So they're short here. Right here, you've got a 7, somebody outside the tight end. Somebody's got to fill this gap with these backers playing fast. They try to rope-a-dope, meaning they're trying to fill here and let these combos try to trap them inside, and then they're going to bounce. But they double-team this guy so far back, he's in the linebacker's lap, so coming off doesn't really matter. Cook has obviously good vision. He goes right through it, 4-yard gain. So that was 12 personnel. Here we go, 12 personnel, 2nd and 6. It's just outside zone. Nothing, no real notes here. Cowboys are in an even front playing 3 deep with the condensed set. Weak side with a stiff block, meaning somebody's coming back. I was blown away when I saw the scoreboard of this game being 50 to 3. I mean, it was just, I couldn't believe it. And I really wanted to see what had happened here. The Vikings actually early in the game get some pretty good movement. So it's funny watching the game in retrospect, knowing what's going to happen, to sit there and be like, you know, how the hell did this happen? First couple plays, or the first couple run plays. All right, so we got a loaded front here. The Vikings are actually in 11 personnel. They're running, trying to run cover 3 here. Cowboys. The Vikings come out in empty. They motion down to a bunch. What happens here is, I don't know if this is a game plan thing or I don't know what this is, but it's clearly 3D. Right? And they're supposed to be playing man on the backside, but the problem with that is when this guy goes in here, he should robot and look for the dig. He doesn't. And so if you're really playing man on this side and saying, hey, we're going to play man, and then we're going to drop this way, the weak hook defender is going to drop this way to take away the slant and then roll back like Bama's flood coverage. Problem is nobody rolls back, so they run a version of drive, and there you go. Now he's open, but you'll see this a lot where there'll be some guys open, and then the Cowboys will make a play. And you see a lot of this. I say a lot, but you'll see this where the coverage or the pass rush really helps out. I'm firing this on. Helps out with the coverage. Getting that pass rush, having this guy right here makes a lot of difference. They gum up the slant here. I guess what they were trying to do is go here to here and then come back around. And all they're trying to do is make it where they got to block this guy one-on-one. He stays in the play. There's actually pretty good protection. 90 loses the edge to the field. Cousins sees it. he doesn't see Hawkinson. I think that's Hawkinson coming open. He has to go. And then obviously the strip sack behind him. Great play by Micah Parsons. He had a tweet earlier today saying there was an MVP conversation and he wasn't on it. And he said, why is this a quarterback award? And, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to measure certain players, you know, if you take them off the field. I know some analytics guys may disagree with me, but what he does is unreal. All right, so we got a bare front here. You're going to see up top showing edge presence here with somebody behind him. So you got 2x2. So somebody's got to be the final C-gap player. So I'm sorry. Yeah, no, this is cover 1. Sticky coverage there. Actually, that was a penalty. I guess it was too sticky. 12 personnel. Sorry, I'm not doing a great job here with the personnel. Cowboys run 4-2-5 personnel. Oh, we have a donation. I forgot that even exists. Yeah, let's talk about split zone fits and a split safety defense as opposed to too high. All right, yeah, absolutely. So let me go back to do they run split zone yet? Yeah, here. All right, so single gap right here. Forget that this guy motions. Forget about it. All right. So, one back, one gap, as we used to tell our guys. And until one of these guys in the core moves, because your core here when you're playing an 8-man front with one high is there. This guy motioning across, what it can do is it can stress you. If you go across here, your force players in some sort of conflict. You know, if they run wide zone here and you widen this guy, he can't fold in and make the play. But I'm trying not to worry about this right now. So A gap, C gap, D gap, B gap, A gap, B gap, C gap, D gap. So if they were run zone this way, single gap spacing, okay, you're going to see, which I believe happens here. Pretend this guy doesn't go back. Everybody's going to play their gap and get downhill, right? Okay. The issue then becomes when this guy comes back, they have to pull back with it. Because if they don't, and they wash this down, right? And this guy comes back, there's now an extra gap right here. And I know you might say, well, this guy's going to fill it, right? Well, yes. But now you have two guys in one gap here, right? I don't know what I just did. I clicked something. So you want to try to pull everybody back because he's in this gap, but there's nobody to tackle the ball. So they move a gap, you need to move a gap. Okay? So when this guy comes back like this, he needs to lever this ball, force it in. Now he should pull back. Now he's not just going to run over there, but he's going to keep the back. It's hard with that guy motioning across. But I didn't want to make you wait for your explanation on how to do this. Especially since you donated. I think that was the second donation I've ever had. I truly forgot the feature was even on. So thanks. That's really cool of you. God, I wish this motion wasn't here. When he comes back, they're going to have to work back this way. So he's going to pull into this gap. He's going to pull the front side. He's going to pull, but they're still going to tempo the back. So if this guy comes back across and this back does this, they're not going to take off, right? They're going to be aware that this guy's coming back, okay? And they're going to be ready to pounce if he follows the block. Okay, and then they'll pull a chain, right? Now, let's talk split safety. This is kind of hard with this look, but we'll do it. Okay, let's go to the wide copy first. I actually like these artificial scoreboards. First, I didn't like them. All right, so let's say they were playing split safety here. So let's say this guy's back and this guy's over. Okay. Now, with it being a 12 personnel, let's actually. This is more difficult because you're not going to see a lot of split safety over front versus 12. So let's remove some pieces, okay? Because otherwise, I'm going to explain something that doesn't happen. All right, so let's move him out. Let's say he's a slot receiver. Okay, he's out of the box. And this guy's not moving. Okay, so they snap the ball here. So you got your nose, your end, your tackle, your end. And I'm not trying to play fantasy ball here, but I would be hard pressed to find someone who's going to play too high on a rundown against this and an over. Actually, you know what? Let's screw it. Let's do it. Let's keep it here. But where I didn't want to cheat though, Jimmy, is because what most people are going to do is they're going to play quarters, and so they're going to max fit this because this is under center. They're actually going to get guys down hard, which is why I was trying to. Yeah, let's do it where they're removed. Because I can easily just be like, all right, we're going to play quarters over here, and this guy moves back, but he still has his edge, and it becomes the same thing, to be honest with you. Under center with no RPO threat, right? So let's remove some pieces. So he's out here. Okay, or maybe I shouldn't have done a damn, we got another donation. You guys are awesome. All right, so maybe this isn't apples to apples, but that's the best I got right now. So let's move him back here, and let's pretend there's a nickel here. Now, under center is going to fit differently. I tell you what. Jimmy, I'm trying to think how I want to do this. Because because quarters is easy. Well, quarters is easy because you have a safety out here and a safety out here, and now these guys can really fly downhill. And these guys here, where it gets hard is when you get the gun. So let's go back. Okay, I'll work backwards. Let me actually clear this. So this guy doesn't exist. Back's here, or gun. G is for gun. Back. There's a receiver out here. So nickel. This safety's back. This safety's over. And they're a 4-2 box. Okay. So I may have to go back to that. We'll have to go back to the cover 3 after. Because it's actually, so it's harder to fit the run in split safety defense in 11, and it's easier in 12 because you can count on both guys, especially with this quarterback under center. The quarterback being under center changes everything. Because unless he pulls the ball and throws a slant or something like that, you really can't get, you're not going to get any RPOs. I know that Shanahan and company attach RPOs, but that's not a post-snap read. Like, that's not a, I'm staring at the guy and I'm going to throw the ball. So this guy doesn't exist. All right, so let's go zone. Okay. If the G is to the back, okay, and this guy's off the ball, what you're going to end up doing is you're going to have to gum up something in here to eliminate this fit. If you don't, the backers are going to have to ball fit. I wish I could easily go to a chalkboard with no film, but the issue with that is it's going to click around the film and it may get wonky because it's not film anymore. And so the Huddle full screen app may go to shit. So I'm doing the best I can. By the way, I guess this is I don't have the link. After I finish, I'll post a link to the Discord. Actually, I'll do it right now. I have a Discord server that I just started. So what I'll do is I don't know why I want to do no limit, never expire, but it won't let me. I'm going to drop it in the chat. I don't know if I can type in here to join it. Maybe we can do this on a whiteboard or something but to make it cleaner, not in the middle of the stream. All right. So they're going to have the ball fit. So if you're not going to gum your front up, so what most people are going to do is in this situation, they're going to have to like spike some shit and create some issues to let this go. Okay. Because if you get split zone like this, let's come back here. That actually helps in a weird way, helps the defense. because they can now, with this back here, come back with this, and this guy can get involved. It's a lot harder if you just run zone, and now this guy has to play this gap, and you leave him on this side, and you can hug this double team and hit it here. I don't know if that makes sense or not. Okay. But let's talk split zone, how that would fit. Okay. With the back here, and that's why there's different versions. If you're ever like, well, why are they running split zone? Why versus why are they just running zone and the guy's not coming back? That's a great example. If you're getting an over front with too high and the B gap bubbles to the bag, you don't necessarily want to bring this guy back, right? You want to, because you're going to bring them back. You want to get them over here where they have to plus themselves. And I'm doing money backer out of habit. And then try to jam this combo and then hit it back here and make them do some sort of crazy stunt. Okay. But if we were going to do it and split safety, this guy would have to come back. He would spill inside of this, right? To get this guy to fit over the top. Okay. This guy here would have this A gap, and then this safety that's over here would end up playing the front side D gap if they ran like a stretch or something where they brought him back and ran wide zone. He would come down and replace. That's actually not what you want to do here. That makes sense. Okay. What's interesting about this, and really this money backer, he's got the A, but he's going to fit the back. So if they run zone and come to kick back out, I know, I'm sorry, I fumbled fumbled the bag or whatever on this explanation, going back and forth. It's just hard to, if you don't have the play queued up and you don't have the formation you want. I didn't want to make you wait. Maybe I should have, but it's hard to like get everything right and have it make sense. So when I say this guy's coming back, he's got to be responsible for this A gap, but he's ultimately going to keep the ball. So if Dalvin Cook's right here, he's going to keep the ball on this shoulder, meaning if he comes up through here, this is where ball fits come in. He's going to plug this gap or get ready to play this gap and keep the ball on his right shoulder, on this shoulder right here. His right, our left, if we're looking at the offense. But if he starts to go here and then hug behind this double, then he's going to work back over here, but always keeping him on this shoulder. This guy, as he swipes back, is going to be ready to go here, but he's not going to run outside. He's going to keep the ball on this shoulder, right? So it's kind of aiming points, but you're really just playing where the back goes. Knowing where your gaps are open, playing where the back goes. If you're playing one high, so let's do path of least resistance. Bring him over here, him over here, him over here. This safety's here, and this nickel's walked out. Remember, this guy does not exist. Okay, same formation. Now when this guy comes back, he's going to spill this. He now is going to be outside no matter – I mean, he's going to really pull the chain. He's going to come back here, and he's going to play in here, and they can fit faster. So I'm now leveraging the ball with this shoulder, but I can be more aggressive because I have an extra guy already down in the box. I hope that makes sense. I didn't realize till we started drawing up the play, and split zone actually in this situation wouldn't be – you necessarily wouldn't want to run that. In fact, a lot of times what some guys – well, say a lot of times. I was about to say a lot of times what some guys will do, I guess that makes sense, is they'll go wide off to put the 3 technique over here. I know some one-high teams that do that. And that's because if you're going to play lever, spill, lever, let's say backer, safety, you can get in here easier. That's easier to do than come back here and try to get everybody back over there. Now, this guy has to block down. This hole is much tighter, and this backer can just play. Now, he wouldn't be that aggressive. He'd be more like here. And then he could fit this fast. This guy could pull over, and then this guy could pull over here. I hope that helps. I hope. Do you have any questions on that? I know I botched the shot. You kind of caught me off guard, Jim, with the really generous donation. And then I'm like, all right, they're an under center 12 personnel. I don't want to make this guy wait. They're an under center 12 personnel. And then how do I make this where because I know what you're asking, right? Split safety, under center is easier. You just get out and you max fit everything, meaning So well, I'll do it just for shits and giggles. So let's say we're playing quarters, okay? So Mike knows, and we're playing base defense now. Or hell, let's say nickel. And will there actually be a Sam here somewhere, or now you pull? No, the nickel's right there. So all you'd say here is you got that gap, and then you put the safety here. So you pull this guy into into the B. He's going to play outside the tight end. So he's going to fill here. And now you get split zone. If this guy comes back, he's going to spill this. Well, if this tight end's here, see, this wouldn't be a great split zone. It'd be more like this. Let's do this. Okay. This is more of a pain in the ass formation where you'd want to run split zone. So let's do 3-4 fits. I'm trying to make it harder than it is. All right. So, or harder than it's lined up, because this is easy. All right. So let's go. Tai Chi slide. So I'm thinking, so here's your free safety. There's a Z out here and an X back over here. This guy doesn't exist, but this is a new guy. All right. So Will, Mike. This is where you have some issues, and where you'd have to get down to 3 deep is you'd have a, well, I guess you could go safety from depth would play the B. Will would play the A, slide your backers over. Mike would be gap free, but really because there's a wing, he'd have the D gap. And then you'd have a safety coming down just a little bit to play this edge, right? So your split safety, I hope this makes sense. Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. So B, A, D, outside the wing. So if you ran wide zone, this guy could come flying up. Now your corners are on islands, but this is actually better run fits because you can get all these guys involved. So it's weird. Quarters is better than 3 deep and run support until you get in the gun and you got to play RPOs. So it's like a plus advantage, plus advantage, plus advantage. As soon as they get in the gun, as soon as they go RPO, it's a problem. All right, let's move on. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. All right. So empty. Oh, we already went over. I'm sorry. We already went over these plays. I'm sorry. God, Jim, you got me all fucked up over here. All right. So Minnesota goes back. They're back to 12 personnel. It's 1st and 10. Oh no, we already did this. This is the PI. It must have been. So they're gonna run a 3 fire. Is it 3 buzz? 3 buzz. No, that's not 3 buzz. Thanks, PFF. That's 100% not 3 buzz. I mean, I guess if you want to call it inside of there. The Vikings had some good runs in this game. Sorry, I should have been way smoother with that cold question and answer thing. I was not expecting that. You got me pretty good. So you got under here. Yeah, so I guess you're playing 3 buzz because you're going to play a shade, a 5, a 9, wide 9, and this guy's going to play the edge. They run pin pull here. Hit the edge, 2-yard gain. All right. We got Tampa 2 here. The curl defender gets sucked up right here. I don't know if it's because it's 2nd and 8. They had a tendency to throw quick. But this curl defender bites the cheese here. They high-low the curl defender in Tampa. Backer can't get over quick enough. He's opening to the field. And they throw the void right behind him. Interesting concept to be compressed against Tampa, too, because you're kind of asking for it a little bit. All right, here we go. We got 1st and 10, 11 personnel from the 52-by-2 formation. Cowboys are in 3-3-5 personnel. They're going to spin down to 3 deep. You got wide zone. And this is where they get in a little bit of trouble. So they're in their bare fronts. not really a bear front, but their penny front, whatever it doesn't matter. Double eagle front. And they're trying to mess around in here. And what they're basically doing is they're lining up in a 9. And they're letting Micah get reached. Right? And then Micah's going to get reached and then press up field. I believe. Oh, no. He tries to run out. I'm sorry. So he tries to run outside. That's another play. Problem. You got 2 on. The worst problem in football. You hear me say this a lot. 2 and 1 and 1 and none. None on 1. They just run outside. They get a little penalty. It's first down. All right. This is interesting. First and down. First and down. Yep. First down. High red. Fringe. I guess you can still call it. 22 personnel. The Cowboys match and go 4-3. The Vikings go empty. They're trying to target. I don't know if they're trying to target Diggs. They're trying to get the ball to Jefferson here. They put him in the slot. They got the tailback out wide. They get their man zone indicator. It's man. Diggs is playing press man. He has to play inside because they're bringing 5. You don't have to, but it's advised. They bring 5. They throw the slot fade. Some may say a penalty. Some may say good coverage. I'm sure you know which one I'm going to say. Let's watch the end of that. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's the right play. They shift. Surprised the Cowboys didn't kill this. They played. Well, so did they play straight man? Or are they playing zone over here? I don't know what they got going on here. It's not good, whatever it is, because you got guys going with this. This guy's off. There's voids. I don't. The few snaps I can see, it looks like they're trying to play 3 deep to the field, or 3 deep to the trips and man to the backside. But with them being shorter guy in coverage, I don't really know what they're trying to do. I don't know if that was like a version of fire zone coverage or what, but there looked to be some confusion. Here we got second and 10 rather, 11 personnel. Cowboys are in 3-3-5. Again, a lot of these personnel groups it's all the same, but they throw a smoke off of power. Just a quick screen to Jefferson. They see Diggs off. Gets a move, gets forward, 4-yard gain. All right, this is an interesting concept. 3rd and 6, 11 personnel. Cowboys are in dime, 3-2-6 personnel here. They're going double 3 techniques, mugging the mic, trying to get one-on-ones. The Vikings motion. I think what they're trying to do here is play 1 double. And I don't know this. And this is where, so for you guys that are trying to figure coverages out, this is a good example. So when I first watched this, I thought, maybe it's 2-man. Maybe because it's what PFF said, right? But watch the safeties as Jefferson comes across. That ain't 2-man. You just tell they're shifting over like that. So I can't tell what it is, okay? I can't tell what that play is. But 2 plays later, so I'm going to skip around here, okay? Now, red zone coverages, I'll say this all the time, they're the hardest to define. Okay, but this one's actually easy. So you're just looking at how many rushers, what demeanor do we have. They're playing a coverage, which I would call 1Y special, meaning they're playing 1Y coverage, cover 1, whatever you want to call it. And then instead of playing a middle of the field safety, because they're down in the red area, they're going to bracket you by formation or by star, by player. So you've seen they move Jefferson around a lot. So watch this bunch break out here. It's lock and level man, but this safety's chilling right here, and he's waiting on Jefferson. Okay, backside. Now usually what happens if you're looking here, you rat away from it. But Dalvin Cook's not a huge, I don't know. I'm not an expert on this part of the game, but I don't think Dalvin Cook is like a huge receiving threat. Like he's not Alvin Kamara. Not that you have to be Alvin Kamara, but you know what I mean. So they both look this way, okay? Then the next play, you can clearly tell that they're doubling 18. Now this makes more sense out of this formation, right? So I'm using this is pretty aggressive. I mean, He ain't even, I mean, it ain't even a question. Okay. So now I go back to this play, this 3rd and 6 play. And if I don't, now I'm starting to think, all right, well, they're doubling Jefferson and they're playing one double. So somebody's going to double him. This guy's going to play the middle of the field. Just watch how they react to his motion. Like, I don't know. I coach a lot of football. I've never seen guys in 2-man, a guy to run jet motion to become a 2-back formation. And these guys are flying back here. They're also not playing 2-man because they're playing flat. That's how you can also tell. They're a little confused. Third and 6 sprint out. Cousins gets absolutely tattooed. By the way, Kyle Brandt from, I think he's from the NFL Network. He did an amazing a promo for this game. If you haven't seen it on Twitter, check it out. It's fantastic. All right, so here's Bear cover 1. The Vikings they brought their bear beaters this game. They had some good ones. So this is really great. So technically, this edge guy plays the edge. Okay. But what happens is with this down block and this guy pulling, it's power. It gives the look that it's power. And so what ends up happening is this guy steps down for 1 second. That's all you need. Good play. 8 yards. So we saw the one. We'll do this quick. Here's the 1 double 18. We'll do this again. They double Jefferson. The ball goes to the corner. Incomplete. Then the next play, 1 double 18 again. Same thing. Now he's up here. And he makes it easy because they move him around. Sometimes what's interesting about some of this stuff is that you'll have a 1 double game plan in, and then he lines up in the same spot. So it just looks like, oh, they're playing halves and quarter half, and they're mixing it up, which is not always true. They're just doing it to that guy, and he's staying on one side of the field, which, can happen. Anyway. All right, here we go. 1st and 10. It's still only 10-3. What's the best defense? Great offense. It's 10-3. Here we go. 21-yard line, 12 personnel. 1st and 10. The front looks to be set wrong here. Now, I know they're setting the front over here originally, but this is not good. Got a lot of bodies over here. They run wide zone. And I know it's only a 4-yard gain, but it's still, you can see, that's all well and good when he's over here. But that nickel, he's got a receiver on him out here, which you can't see on screen. So he can't be of any help. They need to bump. They don't do a great job. They're not set. I mean, it gets held, but this linebacker's not it. I mean, in the words of great Steve Morton, I've seen more violence in a try-to-uphill fight. They'll knock the ever-living shit out of this guy. It's like they're playing. It looks like they're playing practice tempo. But I'd slide that front when they go over like that, because now it's 3-by-1. Anyway, here we go. We got 2nd and 6, 2-by-2, 12 personnel. Cowboys are in nickel. They bring 5 here. They got good matches, but it's a good throw. And a good job. Did Micah go out for a little bit? No, he's in the. Is he in? He is not in right now. Okay, so he's out right now. Clean pocket. Step into his throw. 1st down. All right, 11 personnel. 1st and 10 from the -40. 2-by-2 formation. This is a really interesting play. I thought it was an interesting play. So what's happening is because the Cowboys are choking, a lot of people call this a choke technique, which means a DB is playing a stand-up 7 technique over a tight end, commonly seen in the bear. And then on third down, if you're playing cover 1 or cover 2 and you want to, you know, try to eat up a blocker and pass protection or just disrupt a guy off the line. So what they do here is they block out and then they have their big receiver come back and kick him out and run inside zone. It's only a 2-yard game, but I thought it was a pretty interesting little concept. Now, what happens is they can't get, then this is, the beauty of the bear. They can't get to that guy. That's a pretty neat concept. I thought it was neat to bring in the receiver to kick out the stand-up 7. This is probably a standard, but I don't study offense like that. And I hadn't seen that before or a while. And either that or I don't remember it. All right, here we go. 4-2-5, they're doing, some people call this a mass coverage where they show deep and then he's going to roll back. They run the ball. So see how instead of like playing in these gaps hard, like Jimmy, I don't know if you're still here, but in some of the 3D stuff, those guys are coming downhill more. I know it's gun, but you see how they're kind of waiting and playing. The problem is Micah Parsons, he's got to play the C gap, right? But this ball, if he doesn't make this play or he doesn't close this off and this ball can head outside of him, there's nobody there. That guy just bailed to the half. All right, we got 3rd and 3. 3-3-5 personnel, 11 personnel on offense. They reload, so they line up. They're trying to get a man zone tell. They line up the back outside of the X receiver, motion him back into the backfield. Cowboys are going to play straight quarters. The offense actually helps out with this. See, in quarters, this safety is supposed to go 3-1, but it's usually puts you in a run-pass conflict, especially if the back is strong, because if he goes weak and you got to pull the pin and help in the run game, 3 down the pipe. But because X is close, he can play between both of those. You can see he's reading to 3. Jefferson's in the slot, but a great speed to power move right here. Puts 71 on roller skates, and they just walk his ass back to the quarterback. I keep forgetting that guy's a linebacker. Opens the gate, gets on his heels. Gives him the old Tosh Lapoy long 2. He doesn't even get full extension. So you go like you're rushing with speed, and you get into him, long arm his ass, walk him right back, and you basically sacks the quarterback with the offensive lineman. The G technique is inside the guard. So it's called a G because it used to be like a 0, a shade, and then they would say a G. A G technique is inside the guard, 2I, whatever you want to call it. So that's what I mean by G. We got this play action here. You can tell these guys were worried about the wide zone and duo, which I know is like, yeah, no shit. There's a lot of this stuff here where they have 6 techniques and a guy outside, or a stand-up 7 and a 9. So they're trying to create edges and they're trying to keep them off for duo. So here's play action pass. Does this leak? Yeah, well, this is the problem with leak when you play cover 1. Does that leak? Oh, yeah. It's the inside tight end. I'm watching the outside guy. They're in cover 1, stays on him. He has to run around. Little 3 flies up, push out of bounds, incomplete. Out of bounds, incomplete. We got 2nd and 10, 11 personnel from the 25, middle of the field. Cowboys are in 4-2-5 personnel. They're going to play cover 1 again, according to our PFF overlords. All right, 33. Get you some. So I see this a lot in the NFL, and I don't understand it where these guys play these shades. And I'm a Miami guy, the Miami 4-3, love it. But this affects everything because you play this G here, and if this back is here, this guy has to block flat. And so he ends up cutting off the play. And that ball has to wind back. I see so many times in the NFL, this guy's a shade here, and they reach his ass and he climbs. I think last week or 2 weeks ago, it would have been last week, we watched that. You can see the huge difference. And also, if the back's over here, now you get the opposite. So if this guy blocks this way, you can backdoor and play both A gaps and make the ball cut back. Or if this guy stays on me, now I can play front side. Oops. Here we go. 3rd and 7, empty. 11 personnel. The Cowboys are in their 5-1-5 personnel, according to PFF. Which now they got Parsons as the middle plugger, middle guy. I guess they're going to rush him. So if there's one criticism of Quinn from a schematic standpoint, I mean, you're probably going to sit here and be like, well, what are you talking about? He just got free. I hadn't seen this play yet, and I could tell they were going to blitz him. Now, does it matter if he gets free every time? No, hell no. But what happens when people start figuring this shit out, or you get guys that can block it? And I get it. They're just trying to get one-on-ones, and they're really screwed here, to be frank. But if I can press pause and see that, somebody's going to take advantage of that at some point. It's not going to be good. Again, I know I'm criticizing a play that they hit the quarterback and the quarterback had to throw it away. All right, it's 20-3 now. We got a little 2-minute-0. Only 22 plays in the first quarter so far. You have 1st and 10 from the 25. Dime personnel on the defense. Got a little 2-man action here. They reset their combos. Now, actually, yeah. See, this is what makes. I'm sorry, cover 4. I'm reading. I read the situation was 2M, meaning 2 minute. So I thought it meant 2-man coverage. No, this is quarters. This is what having a great pass rush does to you. Everything gets gummed up in there. Has got to hold it. I believe the ball gets tipped. Let's see this again. Is this what I think it is? Oh no, this is just a. All right, this is just a double twist that the guy gets knocked. Both sides get knocked down, so they end up crossing. I thought this was big twist. There is a play that I've seen. No, so the question in the chat is how are you not going to rush Micah from that position? No, totally. But the problem is they line him up there twice a game, or 3 times a game. Like I did a thing with them a couple weeks ago, and that play first of all, the Vikings screwed themselves by letting it an empty. And they get home. I'm just saying, like, if I see him lined up here and I know he's coming, it's one of those things where if he's good and they get away with it every time, then hell, do it. But it's just kind of like stuff like that makes me pause. I'll say that. So this is a concept that I love. This is not actually what happens. I don't believe. No, actually, I know for sure it's not. It's called Big Twist. We used to run this where we'd say the G would go first. So he would go like this, and he would contain to this side. So these guys are going first. He's going second. He's going third. Really, the way it times out is it's these guys are going first. These guys are going second. But he's going to go faster. So it's kind of like that. and it just gums everything up and it becomes chaos. We did this to an air raid team one time, and it was so much fun. So you're going to see a lot of stunts here in 2 minutes. I know Dan likes to do that. Here's a little Ripley's action for you. Three match, whatever you want to call it. Good concept. Not loving this call in 2 minutes because you're isolated outside. You cut your split down. You throw an out route to your best receiver, one of the best receivers in the NFL. First down. Here we go. 1st and 10 from the 40. 9 personnel on the field. Going to play a little cover 2 here. Short completion. So now they're starting to guard the outs. Nice physicalities, what Diggs is really good at. But it ends up being a screen to the tight end. But it lets these guys trigger and go. And I believe, no, this is just a stunt he sees it. I thought it was drop 8. But this is where these stunts can help on these screens. Is it just, as you can see here, the looper, when you come around, it's like we used to play the air raid. And I know this is not what's happening now. I'm just saying as an example. So let's say this receiver's out here. We used to teach this. We run a TE game to this side. So generally you want to do it away from the center. Because if the center goes this way and you do this, that doesn't do anything. He'll pick it up. So you want to bring, if the back is here and you think he's going to block on this side, you're going to bring your nose, your end. You can bring him inside because where the center goes doesn't matter anything, right? So here. But we would tell this guy going inside out that you would come around, and as you're coming around, you want to wrap this tight. Your eyes go out here. So there's 2 receivers out here, so I'm going to give some spacing. Just imagine these guys are wider and you can't see them. If you saw any color, if you saw any eyes, if you can see the whites of their eyes, meaning they're coming back in towards you, screw the stud and come down the line and ear hole a screen. And that actually happened a couple times. Now, I know that's not happening in this. This was just an aside. You see this a lot when you get to screens as these loopers come around. Like in this scenario here, he's looping, and he sees that's not a normal block. And he feels it and goes, oh, shit, it's a screen. And he's able just to add one more number in there. He misses the tackle, but he makes the tight end, I almost said the back. He makes the tight end stop, and he can get an extra guy off the ball coming from another level. And they're not used to blocking that. Because the problem with screens are they open up horizontally or vertically. Sorry. So you get these guys going upfield, especially because these guys like to run Tampa. Then you get these guys going backwards. So you win in here in this horizontal. This is where the horizontal spacing is. Okay. But what throws a monkey wrench in that is, guy comes around. He gets in between the lines. Very soccer-ish, very World Cup-ish. Shout out. All right, moving on. 2nd and 4, 2-by-2 formation, dime, 11 personnel, dime on the field. We got another stunt. Trying to get the stuff. I mean, this is standard fare. This is where I don't understand playing 3 deep in this situation. Just don't. It's not great on the outs. It's not great on isolation routes. I don't get it. There's how much time? Minute 17. I don't understand this. A penalty, skip this. All right, so now it's 1st and long. Go back to playing 2 deep. This is what versatility brings you. Okay, this doesn't necessarily look like zone. So what ends up happening is they motion down. They end up playing Tampa 2, which I can guarantee you he didn't suspect. Now you got a great pass rush, and this is why an age-old adage. If you're going to play Tampa 2, you got to have a guy that can run down the pipe. You got to have corners that can reroute and delay and funnel things inside, and you got to have a good pass rush. And what that does is Because you might say, well, why don't you just play cover 3? These dump offs, these little quick hitting routes with the guy running full speed. There's people in lanes, right? He can't fire the ball out there quick. He's got to hold it for that split second, and Micah Parsons does his thing. This is fantastic. Goofy ass stance, but fantastic. He tries to come inside. He rips. He gets his hips through. He gets rid of the guy. Watch him with his arm just fling this guy. Jesus. Wow. You gotta dust your shoes off, dude. All right, we got 3rd and 20 or 2nd and 23. Not great. We got quarter, half. It's really almost becomes it's like it's halves over here and basically stump. What you would say is stump coverage. Nickel's got 2 vertical, strong safety's got 3. They're playing halves over here. Backers walling inside. Nothing's open. Run around. Throw the ball away. Here's also the gravity of this. You got 4 blockers on 2 guys and 2 on 2. Not a winning business model to be consistent. To do consistently. Just not great. You got to huck at it and get out of there. 3rd 23, cover 2. Vikings go to empty. Now they're going to try chipping on Parsons. But now here's your problem. It's 3rd and 23. The way you beat cover 2 is you stretch them vertically, right? You split these safeties. You get someone running here and here, and you get guys in seams, get spacing out here, right? And you try to isolate a defender, and you put someone here and someone there. Well, that's real hard to do when you're an empty, and he's having a block and he's having a chip. And now it's basically, and your route is you're going to get and move in here. So now you've done the corner's job for him. Now, yeah, he's high load out here. I get all that. He's coming out late, but it's 3rd and 23. So he catches it. You rally up. You make a tackle, and none of that matters. Now it's a done game, really. I mean, you can come back in the NFL, but it's 30-3. Vikings go 21 personnel the first snap at 21. The Cowboys are going to play bear cover 3 or bear cover 1. Actually, but this is aggressive. This is called knowing your scouting report. So I know they're up 30-3, but also your first snap of 21 personnel. This is called knowing someone. This is ballsy. I gotta give some respect here. I gotta give some serious respect. I have not seen this in a very long time. They're gonna roll back to Tampa 2 out of the bear on 1st and 10 versus 21 personnel. I know they're winning. I get all that, but damn, that's awesome. That is respect. Respect. Let's watch this one more time. A little twist game, too. A little TE sent out of the bear, which is a motherfucker. Because why? Because you got to man protect this thing now. Notice the 2-man surface, they're going to play thicker, a 4-eye. Sorry, 3-man surface, they're going to play a 4-eye. With 2-man surface, meaning they're going to play 3. If you use it, those of you don't know, pretty simple is when you have a tight end, that is a 3-man surface. When you do not, that is a 2-man surface. You could have a 4-man surface. Very rarely we have a 1-man surface. But you'll hear that a lot in like 2-backs, so the 3-man surface. Especially if you know there's only one tight end in the game. So if I say to the 3-man surface, I'm going to know in 21 personnel, well, there's only one side. Now, yes, you could put the fullback over here, but I'm talking about if this is a true fullback that doesn't line up there, I can say to a coach, hey, where was so-and-so line up? And they can say to the 3-man surface. Now, if it's 12 personnel and they're going to line up like this, or they're going to line up like this, there is no 3-man surface. So Just a little colloquialism is not the right word I'm looking for. I don't know. You get it. You get what I'm saying. Okay. 2nd and 17 from the 18-yard line. 11 personnel. Cowboys. Actually, let me see. I want to go back and watch this. I skipped over. Sorry. Oh, this is dirty. First of all, that's piss. I don't even want to get it. This is God. That's terrible. That's just bad. All right, I'm going to skip this play. There was a penalty, so now it's 2nd and 26. I mean, this is a recipe for disaster. Cowboys going to play Tampa 2. They're still masking their coverages. I think what they're trying to do, besides just, show one high, is they're trying to get them to can plays. Because a lot of this offense is, if it's one high, we're going to do X play. If it's too high, we're going to do another. This is the problem. Whoops. But I like this. You know, it's 30-3. I'm sorry, it's still the same series. It's 30-3. A lot of people at Dallas play defense. No. You keep your foot on the gas. This is a pain in the ass versus this. Okay, but this is where you play this route and you make them throw this underneath. A little bit better job there. And it's a 7-yard game, but now it's 3rd and 19, right? The old 5 Tampa sticks, we used to call this. Obviously, they don't line up as the sticks, but now you got to drive the ball down the field. You let your pass rush loose, and you get a sack. I guess the data people said the Vikings regressed to the mean this game. They were the only team to start 8-1 with a negative point differential. But here's the thing. I know it was like the stat last week. Who gives a shit? Like, if you get blown out 50-3 and you have a bad game, teams have bad games. But if you can win, it's how many you win. Not like, I'm not going to go on a rant. Like, this is where I roll my eyes at some of this shit. Like, I am going to go on a little bit of a rant. So football is not. You can look at the football in a long-term kind of scope to see, because you need enough data for trends. But here's the thing: this is not the English Premier League. Okay, we are not. There's no goal differential. There's everything is it's taken in a vacuum, right? So if I win 8 games by an average of 3 points a game, and then we get my ass blown out in one game 50-3, it's a talking point. But all you got to do is be better than the other team per game. And I just saw this stat, how's the show they were fraudulent. I know this is not the best time to argue for a pro Viking after they got destroyed. But also, football's situational, man. And it's about matchups. And it's not I'm so tired of everything being these, everything. It's either too micro or too macro. And the points they're not even clear at some point. This is just, I don't know what's going on here. They're trying this chip protection stuff. They're running 2-jet. Basically what they're trying to do is they're going 2-jet to Micah. And they're using it's really strange. First of all, if you're going to do this, okay, if you're going to run this protection and you're going to turn the center this way, put the tight end here and put the back here. So keep all your rules the same, in my opinion. So they slide here, and I don't know why they keep doing this. Okay, go 7. And I know I said, they're keeping guys in, but obviously they're twisting. So if I'm running a twist game, right? I know it doesn't really work here. The guy falls down. But let's say I'm running a twist game. If you go and shove a guy down, you're helping him. Like, get back here where you can step up and go knock the shit out of people coming through here. I mean, they're shoving the guys down, they're chipping them in, and then they're getting out, and you now have inside pressure. You have nobody to clean anything up. Like, I don't understand that. I'm not an O-line coach. I'm definitely not an O-line expert, but I just look at some of this shit. Now the rest of the game is this now a new drive? Yeah, it's 37-3. The game's over. So now run fits don't matter. This is the time that you start putting a bunch of crap on tape to mess with the other team. You're getting back to too high, get some wide zone. I think what impressed me about this game was not only how much they dominated, but how much they kept their foot on the gas. A lot of teams, this would have been, 50-21. Yeah, it's a dumb this is great. Yeah. Rams Vikings love that double wing chip on pass downs. Also not a huge fan. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Like, it's good in some circumstances, but like most of their I don't know. I hate saying, because I didn't break this game down. This time of year is hard for me. I'm hired by different people. I got different shit going on. I want to do this for you guys and break some stuff down, but I do not have the time to like go with a fine-tooth comb. So I hate saying statements like this because I may not be watching the game with a close eye on a certain thing. But what Grady's saying here is the double wing chip on pass downs. It has its place. However, yeah, Parsons did some things where he ran around, but most of the stuff that's happening is, going speed to power. There's been inside moves. So have guys that can play inside out to be able to clear, even if they just stand there and wait for shit to happen and then go earhole people. And you saw in the 2-minute drive where they're running TE games, where they're literally trying to set people up, and you have guys blocking them into the play. And this is my usual weekly caveat that I do for these type of things, but I'm not an O-line coach. I'm a former high school football coach. I advise defensive teams on how to play defense. I'm very, very clear on that. But I don't get it. When I see this stuff, if it's done correctly, now, if you have edge guys that are running around people, yeah, you want to get in their way, but I don't know. Am I seeing? Tell me if you think I'm wrong here. I don't see people just doing that and just running around people. I see guys opening the gate and getting beat and getting put on their heels and shoved back, or it's really both. They're opening the gate and they're getting beat inside, or they're opening the gate and they're trying to get so far back that they're getting put on their heels. So it's kind of two ways in the same. But I don't see Micah Parsons just going like that. I see Marcus Parsons blitzing in this A gap and getting and squirting through. So I don't get what getting on the edge and knocking people inside is doing. And watch, are they going to run around now? I'm going to laugh my ass off if they run. Yeah, he runs right around. See, this is what I need a producer. So I can be, hey, cut this out on the replay. Hey, yo, clip that last 2 minutes, of course, as they run around. But like, they're beating you. They're beating you in the pass rush game. Okay, still, a guy right here can then get involved. So they've released Dalvin Cook. You're down 34 points, and you got 23 minutes to play. Putting him on a swing is not helping anything. Unless you just want to like give the game up. Just go for it. Do this. Let's watch that in the end zone. Okay, so Jimmy, I don't know if you're still here, but here's an interesting look. So because of the nature of the game, the Cowboys are going nickel to 12 personnel, which makes a lot of sense, right? They're up 34 points. You're not going to get in base and let them win. But here's what's interesting. Now, I'm seeing this more. I don't know if this is a trend or if it's one of those things where, when your friend, I've used this analogy before, but do you know like when your friend buys a new car and it's a car that you don't know, like, oh, here's this new car that Kia makes or whatever, and then you can't stop seeing that car on the road? That's been me, like a dog with a bone. So what I've started noticing is some teams, what they're doing is when they're playing nickel, is they're bringing their safety down and they're putting their nickel to the weak side, because usually nickel travels at the passing strength. But there's different alignment rules for different personnel groups. And in the NFL, you huddle. So in college, you've got to know this stuff because they're all kind of muddle huddled. They're looking at the sideline, and then they're trying to yell to the, hey, yelling in the Sanford Stadium. There's 90,000 people. But what you're going to say as a reminder in my mind is, you've told this guy to line, I think he's the nickel. You've told him to line up to the passing strength all game. So when they huddle up, whoever's got the green dot, you're going to say, hey, nickel to 12. It's 12 personnel. Alert nickel going weak, or whatever their term for it is. And so what you do here, especially if they're a team that in 12 personnel goes on a YY wing, you want your safety and your backers over to this side. And then if they run split zone, which I don't know why they don't back this guy off more, then the end takes that guy out. Now you're just tackling the running back. So anyway, those are just some thoughts. That's not something I'd seen a lot of in the NFL. I've seen other teams do it, but not at this level where they're saying, hey, go nickel weak if it's 3Y1 wing. Makes a lot of sense, especially if you're going to play one high. And then you get a fast-ass cutback play. 1st and 10, under center. You got tight end wing, twins of the field. Yeah, so 6 is playing corner right now. Yeah, this is just an assignment bust. So most of the game, and this is where you got to be careful. What is it? If you play the Game of Thrones, you lose or die. Or you win or you die. You lose or you die. Isn't it the same thing? So here's where you get these problems is they're trying to set on this guy because he's been covering down. I mean, think about it. This is safety. You have an edge rusher. This guy's been dropping and hanging out, so we're going to go play action. But he just decides, hey, if you get this, you cover his ass and let this guy go. Every once in a while, it happens. And every once in a while, you sprinkle it in, and this is why. You do not let them block you. Like we saw that split zone where they arced, and then he came across and kicked that guy out because they knew he was going to cover and he was going to widen, and then they could kick him out. Well, guess what, buddy? It's a nice little adjustment. I think they bring both guys here because in this situation, so let me tell y'all a little something about playing 7 technique, stand at 7. So if you're truly playing the bear, especially in high school, not especially in high school, but if you're playing the old bear where this guy's like a linebacker, the thing you had to do is when you had a 9 technique out here, and it didn't matter who it was, he was your edge rusher and this guy was covering that's tight end, right? So if you got arc or whatever, he would take a step, this end would grab him. Imagine this guy's not here. He would take a step, this guy would grab him and say, go, 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 and then he would add, which I think maybe what's happening here. They see the hesitation. They clearly see this is a play action. This is not a run. You can tell the difference. And they say, just go. Or it's a call, but it doesn't look like it looks like it's just a thing that happens spontaneously. All right. 12 personnel, 2nd and 20, nickel personnel. Oof. Tampa here. The thing that I've seen with the Vikings, again, this could be one of those situations where I'm like, I say that something's going to happen and then it's the opposite happens. But here's what I've noticed in just a very, 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 very small sample size. What I'm noticing is, and this is what happens, this is the problem when you move guys around, right? So they're moving Jefferson, and obviously they've done a great job. Let's go back a few plays. 12 personnel didn't matter. Right, it's run play action. But let's get into some of these 11 looks. Well, this is 12 as well, so. I don't know if this point's going to hold up. So part of watching film and part of breaking down tendencies, I'm obviously not watching the Vikings tendencies. So I'm watching this game with a different eye, if that makes sense. One of the things is you make hypotheses, okay? You say, I think this is what's happening. You write it down, and you either say, all right, well, this is what's happening, and kind of prove what you're saying, or you prove it's horseshit. Really, what you're trying to do is you're trying to prove yourself wrong. I didn't go off those tendencies. So this would be like something where I'm going to say out loud, because, you know, I'm here on YouTube, and we're hanging out. I'm starting to notice a pattern with what type of routes wherever Jefferson lines up. And that's the problem sometimes when you move a guy around, like kind of like the Micah Parsons thing. Like as soon as I saw him as the Mike linebacker, I'm like, he's going. He's blitzing. You know, he's blitzing. So what I'm seeing with Jefferson is it's like if he's the one and he's squeezed down, they're going to run the corner or the out. If he's the two, they're going to run something else. And now I'm trying to notice if I'm watching these guys from a defensive standpoint where I'm trying to break down their offense, I'm trying to say, well, what are they doing? Like trying to figure out by the patterns what's happening. We got 3rd and 20. Oh, they call time. It's a penalty of some sort. 3rd and 25. Wide kind of stand-up look. They gum the front up. Oof. 10-yard completion. Punt team alert. I'm going to let these plays roll. This is going to be a much shorter watch than normal because the game went over quickly. I didn't realize there were so few plays in the first half. It's got a little 3 deep action here. I think it's cover 1. I think PFF's wrong here because of how they're handling this motion. They're just running a little pin pull. Which at this point, I guarantee you that the Cowboys don't give a shit. No, it's some sort of weird. This is a bold strategy here. From the background, Jefferson. They're just running pin pull. I don't know how much we're going to get out of the rest of this game because there's just not a lot. I mean, both the Cowboys couldn't give two shits about giving up certain things that they want to give up, and like this play. All right, keep him in bounds. You know, it's 11. I mean, you don't want to give up 11-yard gains. So don't. What do they say? Don't get it twisted. What do the kids say? Don't get it twisted. It's not like you're like, oh yeah, sure, take 11-yard gains, but you're not going to unwind yourself to like make sure they get a 3-yard gain. Cowboys are playing a lot of 2. They're running MORs, mandatory outside release, trying to get Hawkinson the ball. It's Hawkinson, right? Not Hawkerson. I hope I'm saying this correctly. I've been calling him Hawkinson for years. I'm going to laugh if it's Hawkerson. I'm looking this up. It's Hawkinson. Okay. I just for a second, I was like, holy shit, have I been saying it wrong all this time? 1st and 10, little 3-batch action. They can play it from depth, though. I mean, like, it's 1st and 10, open field. You know, this is where this kind of stuff is like, yeah, let's watch it. Let's watch the rest of the game, but maybe not the most exciting game to watch because, I mean, you wouldn't line up like this if it was 0-0. So you're going to see some lazy – it's not lazy. That's the wrong word. You're going to see some preventative measures taken here where – you're playing top down. Corners may be a little bit more aggressive on the underneath stuff, so you got to watch the double outs because they have been roasting them. Here, though, with the cushion, they're showing a too high shell. So I don't know if you just jumped it here. Some of this, it's like they read the play, and then sometimes it's like they're making that decision before the ball snap. Right, wrong, or indifferent. Whoops. All right, we got a little pass. 2nd and 10, 11 personnel, and Cowboys are playing quarters. The one interesting thing about this is they do go through a lot of different coverages. So from a coverage standpoint, hopefully we see something good. This song is too chaotic. I'm deleting this. Sorry, guys. I thought I deleted the 2 chaotic songs. It turns out I only deleted one of them. Some people don't like the music. It gets rid of the boredom of hearing yourself talk for 2 hours completely straight through. Do we have a new quarterback? No, not yet. Little Y cross versus quarters. A little switch action here with Thielen. I like this concept. They get him over here. Obviously, they're trying to get yards. This guy's worried about getting the ball out. He ain't waiting for that shit to open up. He's turning. He's getting the ball out. If he waits half a second, he gets a chunk here. But I think he's been hit enough this game. And this is where I know this is small, and you may be sitting here, and this is the stuff that's fascinating to me, though. I know you're sitting here, and you're like, dude, why do you give a shit? It's a 34-point game. It's over. Like, they're just playing so they don't get made fun of for being like, hey, can we just end this shit right now? But this is the stuff that fascinates me. The old Greg Williams Remember Me hits, where he talks about the damage. And Buddy Ryan used to study this, like the amount of hits a quarterback would take and the damage it would have on their performance in a game. His ass has been ragdolled pretty good. Right now, if you read this correctly, that's a hold this and throw that crosser right there. 100%. He's like, bullshit, I'm doing that. Get this ball out and get me the F out of here. He ain't waiting. And it's little things like that that I find interesting. When I watch this stuff. Question in the chat, what difference does picking from the different roles on the Discord make? Absolutely none. Everybody has access to all the channels except the mod stuff. It's just something for guys to have fun with. You could pick more than one role. The first role that you pick, I believe, is what your color will be. It's just a little something for guys to identify each other. If analytics guys and I know there's a lot of crossover, but I just thought it'd be something fun. There's really no serious matter. It's not like the defensive guys can't see the offense and I have a private Discord for my Patreon, patreon.com/CoachVass. That's private where it's not. I would say it's not open to the public. Yes, that's what private means, but it's like lockdown. I don't care who joins us as long as you're not a dick, and as long as you're not causing problems. Everybody's welcome until you're not. Until we start kicking people out for being dicks. Anyway, I find stuff like this fascinating to see. When you watch a game like this, where can you really see the quarterback be like, you know what? I'm out. I've had it. And I'm not saying I'm not calling Kurt a quitter or that he's got scared or anything like that. But you would be lying to yourself if you had Micah Parsons trying to tear your face off. And he's done a pretty good job, and not just him. And you're going to sit back there and there's 34 points with, the game is out of hand. And you have a long season to go. And I know people say, what about that Oilers-Bills game? Yeah, that was a playoff game. You got – going back to my speech about being in vacuums, you got another game coming up. There's no reason to get all crazy and, play hero. And sometimes we look at this like it's some sort of good thing. Like, oh, look, he's still hanging in there. Like, okay, yeah, you don't want to quit on your team, but also you want to be healthy for next week. This is an interesting little concept here. You got a corner route from 3, a dig from 1, and a seam from 2. I've seen this with the McVay stuff. Drop. This is cover 1. I'm gonna watch this again. Yeah, good call too against that coverage. I mean, they get 2 guys open really. They didn't hit the plays they needed to hit. And I know that's no shit, and that sounds like hollow, but I love that they're still disguising Tampa too. 2nd and 10, or on 2nd and 10, up by 34 points at the end of the third quarter. Like, they don't give a shit. Whole screenplay. Third and dime. Put Mullins in the fourth quarter. Oh, that's right. The old Niners quarterback. Yeah, like get him out of there, dude. It's over. Like, and it sucks because it's sports and you play to the final whistle and all that. But like, these are multi-million-dollar players. Like if we were playing high school ball and these kids only had 10 games a year, and it was like this is our last chance ever going to play football, and you want to play to the final whistle and you want to try to work on your shit, or it's early in the year, totally understand. But this is a long ass season, and you have grown men who will tear your feet up with the JV in. Get the Scribinis in. You will tear your face in half. And you're a $20 million quarterback. Like, sorry, it's different at this level. Get him out. They got him again. Oh no, not the back-to-back. That is a balloon. Let's get a replay on that. Is that a balloon? That is a balloon. This is when you know shit's over. They got the balloon going. Yeah, man. Right tackle flinched. Back-to-back plays. That's misery. Get a little sack. Get a little loaded, like super light dime, loaded front. They're having fun now. They're masking it. A lot of offensive guys. So the McVay guys, it's not a McVay thing, but like the West Coast offense guys, they call this mask again. I'm masking the coverage. A lot of times, if it's 2x2, the weak guys will rotate back, and then if it's 3x1, so imagine this guy doesn't exist and this guy is here. You'd have this guy come down and this guy start back, and then they'd roll back like that. It's nothing crazy, but he's putting shit on tape for the following weeks. Yeah, this is the point where you're like, all right, get him out. All right, this is what we're going to do. You guys can't see this, but I'm going play all clips. My clicker's going down. We're just going to talk this through. We got 13 plays left. First and 10, 25-yard line, 11 personnel. Cover 3 here, handoff, and TFL. You know me, I like to. Kirk Cousins doesn't have to go to the end, but I go to the end. Yeah. That's what happens when you run zone read with a guy who's not going to pull it. We got a completion. Second and 13, 22-yard line. 3-5 personnel. Cover 2 by the defense. I'll stop it if something cool happens. How's that? Let me stop that play. I'm going to go back on this play. I want to see Tampa. All right, so there are some little things here that I do want to talk about because this doesn't matter, the result. So Tampa dropper, you're going to open to 3 or to the field. So this is the conversation when I talk to the Tampa guys. The first question I have is 2x2 back week. Are you still going to open to the field? Because the hashes in the NFL are only 9 3/4 yard apart. So where are you going to go? Where are you going to be located at? Where are you opening to? Where are you thinking you want to go? So you're going to see here. Oh God, I don't know what just happened. I don't know what just happened. Oh, that's on my end. Who's going to open to the field? If he sees the eyes come back, he's either going to pivot like this, depending on where your hips are and how you feel more comfortable. You're either going to, I don't know the best way, turn open, like back towards the ball, make the play. Or if your momentum is carrying you this way, you can center field turn or speed turn back this way and roll back around, which is what happens here. That was a great job by Mullins. He sees that's dead. He's got it covered. I'm going to come back to throw this dig. The last second is he's about to get nailed. Like, I don't know why the Cowboys still have their ones in. I mean, I know that some of the starters are in on offense, but they've waved the white flag. But get him out of there. This is when you want to shoot yourself in the prick. You lose a starter in this situation. Is Jefferson in the field, and would that be a factor? Yeah, that's where that becomes a factor. But most guys, they don't play Tampa. Like, so zone coverages like that, they're gonna leave their rules, and then they'll have their rules for like how to handle certain guys by doing different stuff. All right, this one's not it. Moving on. But yeah, that was one thing I thought of too, because I asked someone that runs Tampa an NFL linebacker coach who runs Tampa. Like, what happens if you get 2x2 back to the boundary, but the studs to the field? He said 2x2 don't matter where the back is, unless it's some huge tendency. Like, they only put this one guy to the boundary, and they're only going to throw it to him. Obviously, there's always asterisks when you say, "Oh, we're always going to do this." But unless it's super obvious. Yeah, it's 40-3. They got their twos in. And here's the other thing about the NFL, though. There may not be twos. We're off that song too. Yeah, Micah Parsons in the game. This is what I don't understand. Yeah, okay, he gets around and he knocks a shot. Like, great. I don't know if he's trying to pad stats or, a lot of these guys, you only get to play so many plays in a game, and you're kicking ass, and you're part of the reason. Oh, shit, they got 14 at linebacker. Oh, boy. You're part of the reason they're kicking ass, and they want to finish. But that's where you take the decision on the player's hands, and you say, hey, we're out of here. We're not doing this shit. Here we go. 1st and 5 from the 7. Luckily, they got the penalty because they might have got a safety if they tried this shit and they were backed up. Oh, God. Six techniques are hard to block. They always have been, always will be. It's why I always lived and died but with them. Always. They're a pain in the ass. They are a pain in the ass. A 12-yard completion. They got Mike out now. I think Curse is a starter. Might be the only starter left in the game. Like 6 is in. I don't know if he's a starter. He played a lot with the ones. I don't know if he's like the normal starter. But again, like some of these guys, they don't have backups. Or you got 3 corners or 4 corners, and then your second corner's banged up. So it's like, well, do you put your second corner who's banged up in, or your first corner who's fine? Especially if they're just going to run the football. Like, that's where you have to make those decisions. But, like, I know offensive line, they don't have – I mean, does anybody in the NFL carry 10 offensive linemen? There's like the swing guard and the swing tackle. And somebody who can play center. So usually, 7, 8 linemen? Does anyone roll the dice and carry 10 guys like any of the crazy run teams? That's a great question. The most I've heard is 9, I think. You might have some guys on the practice squad, but you can't put them in your game. This song sucks. What's going on? We had great vibes last week, and then I don't know what's happening right now. We just got dog shit going on. Sorry, guys. This isn't more exciting. All right, so here's an interesting one. Here's a 2x2, and the mic opens to the boundary. Now, keep in mind, this is the Scribinis. And again, not everyone plays like this. Here is something, though, that you'll see. And I've talked about this before. Never mind. It's not what I want to talk about. Ignore me. All right, last play. I'm really glad we watched that, guys. Really super happy we watched that last play. All right, guys. The shortest Tuesday Night Football ever. I apologize. I thought this was going to be way more fun. I was going to be way more snaps. I was looking forward to a domination, but really the domination happened on the other side of the ball. Thanks for hanging with me. I know it was a short episode. I flew solo tonight. I wanted to get through the game. Like I said, this part of the year is really tough for me. With all the high schools coming down to the end, I'm getting hired every week. I'm usually hired for some capacity every week, but I'm doing other projects and things. So, and I got my love, the World Cup going on. So yeah. So anyway, check out the Discord. I'll put it in the chat one more time. If you guys want to come hang out, it's free. For those of you who don't know what Discord is, it's a free hangout. It's imagine for my coaching buddies, it's Huey, but text and video and stuff. Come hang out, and hopefully we'll get some better games. I'm really sorry this one wasn't more entertaining. Some good stuff, nothing crazy, but wasn't like, oh my god. It was just people kicking the shit out of people up front. All right, guys. Thanks for the donations. Really appreciate it. Really, really do. It's just a thought. You know, just the thought that somebody would stop to even $1. You know what I mean? Like, just somebody would stop to think to do that. It's really, really cool. So really appreciate it. You know, StreamYard's not free. I got the good version to do this. So, you know, between this and a little bit of ad money, all I want to do is every month try and break even. So we can do this, and I'm not having to pay for it. I hope you guys understand that. So sorry if you guys watch on replay and there's ads, but this stuff does cost money. So I really appreciate you guys, and happy Thanksgiving. Let me leave without forgetting to say that. Happy Thanksgiving. Come out, hang out in the Discord, and I will see you next week, hopefully. Bye.